Never waste a good crisis. And when it comes to the economic crisis, don't waste it when it can have a very positive impact.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure, have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
Stay tuned for politics and religion. By now, you're probably aware of the Department of Justice's attempt to access Yahoo emails without warrants. Well, it appears now that all of the exposure has caused the Department of Justice to back down. Here's the story. The U.S. Justice Department has abruptly abandoned what had become a high-profile court fight to read Yahoo users' email messages without obtaining a search warrant first. In a 2-page brief filed Friday, the Obama administration withdrew its request for warrantless access to the complete contents of the Yahoo mail accounts under investigation. Yahoo's efforts to fend off federal prosecutors' broad request attract allies in the form of Google, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the Center for Democracy and Technology, and the Progress and Freedom Foundation, who argued that Americans who keep their email in the cloud enjoy a reasonable expectation of privacy that is protected by the U.S. Constitution. Now, when you talk about keeping their email in the cloud, you know by now that you can store all of your assets, all of your information on what they call the cloud. It's a central server system, and it's supposed to be there for you and you only. However, the Obama administration wanted to access it so that they can mine all the information that was there. Now, you know, this must be something that goes with power, because George W. Bush and his administration did the same thing. It just simply seems like once men get their hands on power, they can never get enough. No wonder it's being reported today that 4 out of 5 Americans do not trust the government. Well, anybody that's ever dealt with anyone, it just seems like government can be a very ruthless beast. Individuals who work for the government, when you get them alone, they're as nice as anyone else. But once they put on that uniform or that badge or wear that cloak of power, all of a sudden it seems like they have an aura of authority and power that can be frightening at times. Now, the story continues on. 2 years ago, then presidential candidate Barack Obama had pledged that as president, he would strengthen privacy protections for the digital age. This dispute had the potential to test his administration's actual commitment to privacy, which recently became the subject of a legislative push supported by Silicon Valley firms and privacy advocates. The administration has taken a position at odds with that coalition in a second case in Philadelphia involving warrantless tracking of cell phones. A 17-page brief that the Justice Department filed last month acknowledges that federal law requires search warrants for messages in electronic storage that are less than 181 days old, but Ryan had argued the Yahoo mail messages don't meet that definition. Now, here's why. Here's what they reason. Listen carefully. Previously opened email is not in electronic storage, Ryan had written. What? Just because I open my own email and read it, the government says, once you've read it, we have a right to read it. I mean, this is the kind of convoluted thinking that takes place once people leave normal society and get involved in the beltway of Washington, D.C. The story goes on. This court should therefore require Yahoo to comply with the order and produce the specified communications in the targeted accounts. The Justice Department says that what's known as a 2703D order and is not as privacy protective as the rules for search warrants should let police read email. This is an update as of 12:45 p.m. Attorney Kevin Bankston just sent me a link to his post which claims the Justice Department is unwilling to fight civil liberties groups in the courts. Another explanation is that prosecutors are perfectly willing when the time is right, but didn't think this particular case offered the best chance for them to win. So they're not quitting because they respect privacy, but they are simply quitting because they don't think they have the best chance to win this case. But they'll be back. Tensions continue to rise between Iran and the United States. South Korea suspects that a North Korean mine or torpedo was responsible for sinking its ship on March 26th. Syria has just delivered Scud missiles to Hezbollah that can reach deep into Israel. From every corner we hear of wars and rumors of wars. Stay tuned for Politics and Religion.
Look, there are two things I don't discuss: politics and religion.
In my house, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion.
I'll talk to you about anything except politics and religion.
I never talk about politics and religion.
Politics determines how we'll live here on earth. Religion determines how we'll live forever. I'm Irvin Baxter. I think it's time we talk about it.